1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Let's check that's working nicely. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Thursday. So tomorrow is Friday. 3, 2, 1. Hello, if you're there. Friday. If these things are sorted out, they're sorted out. I don't know what's going to happen later, but I'll push on. I might just try and describe a bit more detail into my words rather than relying on the charts, just in case they're not there. Anyway, getting on with it. Over in the United States of America, calculated risk chart. This is Architecture Billings Index. This is architects who are having orders coming in. And look at the end of it. It's sticking right up in the air, like a great big sticking up in the air thing. This is normally, obviously, an indicator that there's going to be a lot of house building done. Problem solved. End of the entire problem. Maybe, maybe not. Second, Bruce Crasting. What the Fed announcement means. Here comes the mega refi for homeowners. For me, the most significant developments of the Fed's announcement is a change in policy where the Fed will reinvest proceeds of maturing mortgage-backed securities in new issue agency MBS paper. Prior to today, the Fed reinvested principal payments in Treasury bonds. I wrote about the possibility of a mega mortgage refi by Fannie and Freddie. Here and here I quoted one of them. Pointed to obvious flaws in the refi story. If $1 trillion, say, or so of mortgages were rapidly repaid, then who would buy all of the new, much lower coupon mortgage paper? Because if it's paid back, there's not much more money to cash flow come in, so it's worth less to the people that are holding that asset. And the answer obviously is the Fed. It's all tricky. Loans and finance, jumping over to Europe, but the similar central banking, ECB eases rules. Judging by today's press release from the ECB, abolishing eligibility requirements, it seems that they are making ready to accept defaulted Greek government bonds. Do they know something that they haven't yet told anyone else? ECB said basically for borrowing money off them, they'll accept any old bits of paper, used or not. And they're thinking, well, will defaulted Greek government bonds, they'll be haircutted, but you'll get some money for them. And I was thinking, will the Irish, the internal Irish central bank paper, there's 30 billion of that knocking around, and the Greeks have started their central bank's internal paper. Anyway, it looks to me as though what this is part of are people that realise that the solids are hitting the punker, and they've got to get a story in place that we did everything that we could. I see a lot of that sort of thing knocking around at the moment. Rubini, how to prevent a depression. Oh, I'll do the first paragraph in silly Rubini voice. But note, at the bottom I've highlighted first, and it's first we must accept that austerity measures necessary to avoid a fiscal train wreck. First goes on to 8 or 9, and he's not just a showboy. I mean, he really has got some plans, because most people have got no plans at all for any sort of what to do. A lot of people like me say point out all the things that are wrong, but can't come up with any idea, any way of putting it back together. But Rabini does. Unfortunately, the ways of putting things back together are extremely painful and just won't be taken up because they're too painful. But the repair possibilities are there. In fact, I've put on too much time now. I won't bother reading it. But if you want to read some information about what they can do about stuff, Nouriel does put it together. BBC News, New Zealand's economy almost stalls in the second quarter. New Zealand's economy slowed to almost a standstill last quarter, sending the currency sliding. Now that's all exaggerated. The economy has just slowed, it's gone flat, and the currency is not really sliding at all. But it's just to say that all parts of the world are being hit by whatever is hitting them, and everyone seems to be getting hit by it. Slightly different story, Middle East, same BBC News, Barack Obama will veto Palestinian UN bid. Barack Obama has told Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas he will veto his bid for UN membership. So a quick run of middle of the video stuff. Econ browser, more thoughts on peak oil. In Saturday's Wall Street Journal, Daniel Yergin, chairman of SERA, gave his explanation of what's wrong with peak oil. Here's why I don't find his analysis altogether convincing, and a very cool, calm econ browser analysis of what Yergin said. None of us were convinced, were we? I don't know. And this, I forget where I got it from, but it's a nice chart. It's a shame you can't see it if you can't see it. It's Sarah and Yergin's sad record of oil price predictions. And it just seems to be a fact that throughout their entire life, Sarah gets everything wrong. And it must be doing it on purpose. Nobody can be that unlucky. Referring back to anyway, the article title is "Forgive Student Loans?" ? Worst idea ever by Justin Wolfers at Freakonomics. If you did pick up and gave some thought to the forgive student loans thing that I threw out a couple of days ago, there are many reasons why it's a terrible idea, but there are reasons why, it could have some benefits. Financial Times, Operation Sovereign Debt Net. I've only brought this up once, and Lisa Pollock, now writing for Alphaville, but you don't know who she is, so it doesn't matter. From ivory towers of academia has come a novel idea. Why not just net away all these troublesome debt exposures? For example, say Spain held Irish debt to the tune of 12 billion and Ireland held 20 billion of Spanish debt, then the two exposures could be netted out, so Spain owes Ireland 8 billion. This has been flying around the internet for about a couple of months since didn't come from me, but it was a chart that I posted a couple of times of all the debts owed in Europe by all these countries, and they're pointing in different directions. Do you remember that one? Very colourful, very good. So people said, well, why can't you just say, well, if he owes him, we'll take that off and net it all out, and in the end it's all fine. But Lisa points out that that's very stupid, and as soon as you look into it, it's not in the slightest bit possible. Okay, back to more newsy news now. HSBC flash China manufacturing PMI, one of these PMI indexes with one of those 50 lines across the middle. This was brand new out this morning, and it's China manufacturing 49.4 down from 49.9, and China's manufacturing output index 49.2 down from 50.2, so dropping below that line. It's not totally critical that it goes below what they call, it's decreasing below, increasing above. It's not totally critical, but it's going in the wrong direction. Bank of China stops FX swaps, Forex currency swaps trading with some big European banks. China is not coming to Europe's rescue by the look of things. And finishing with Martin Wolf, third, let's say, in his series of what the bloody hell can we do with Europe? And this one is called Why Breaking Up is Hard to Do. Breaking up is hard to do. Members of the Eurozone are suffering from a severe bout of buyer's remorse. That's one of his favourite expressions, buyer's remorse. And I'll give it you again. Members of the Eurozone are suffering from a severe bout of buyer's remorse. In other words, they got into the euro 10 years ago, and now they're regretting they ever went in. Many would like to disassemble the kit they bought almost 20 years ago and put together in the late 1990s and 2000s, but they can only break it, together with the entire structure of the European cooperation. Meanwhile, the world looks on in horror at the possibility that the Eurozone is about to unleash a wave of sovereign debt and banking crises. If so, it would not be the first time that European folly has brought ruin to the world. And it's just another example of a genius of Martin Wolf. Just goes around talking to all these people, just come back from China, talks to all these people. The comment section is huge on this. I've not even got through it yet. I've probably read the first 100 out of 150. And it comes under one of, actually it's mentioned in the comment section, the famous old thing about economists or analysts, or it is economists. If all the economists in the world were laid end to end, they would not reach a conclusion. No one has come up with a way of sorting this euro thing out. No one. Martin Wolf saying they've got to get it all together. They've got to be the United States of America. It can't be done. It just cannot be done. So it's useless saying all these things that should be done that can't be done, but what's the point? They can't be done. Something that can't be done will be done, though. That's the strange thing. Something that can't be done will be done. But what will it be? Don't know. So, see how we go with this. Might do one tomorrow. Don't know. Things happening here. Anyway, I'll certainly see you next week. Bye.